Welcome to Wayde's Winter Music Awards. Every year, K-pop moves fast. Comebacks blur together, trends rise and fall overnight, and it's easy for incredible music and meaningful moments to get lost in the blur. But this show isn't about who sold the most albums or who trended the longest. This is about the music. Albums and artists that actually stayed with me. Tonight, we're taking a step back to reflect on the moments that mattered. The songs I replayed at 2 a.m., the albums that surprised me, the artists who grew, persevered, or reminded us why we fell in love with K-pop in the first place. Whether it was a quiet solo debut, a long-awaited comeback, or a group that refused to be forgotten, these are the moments that made this year special. These awards come from a fan's perspective. I tried to be thoughtful, honest, and true to me. Some picks might be obvious, others might be controversial, but every single one comes from a genuine connection rather than hype. Before we get into the awards, I quickly wanted to lay out how this works. To be considered for Wayde's Winter Awards, a release had to meet two simple criteria. It had to come out in 2025, and I had to have reviewed it or talked about it on this channel. That means every album, song, or artist recognized tonight is something or someone I spent time with, sat with, and had genuine thoughts about. This isn't about catching everything that happened this year, it's about celebrating the music that actually crossed my path and left an impression. This also isn't a traditional awards show, as there are no nominee lists, no fake suspense, and no rankings for the sake of drama. Every category has one winner, chosen based on impact, quality, and how strongly it resonated with me as a listener and fan. There are 40 categories total, but they're not evenly split between male and female acts. Not because of intention or bias, but because I wanted the categories to reflect the year as it actually unfolded for me, rather than forcing symmetry where it didn't naturally exist. Because of this, some of the categories had a limited selection pool, given the criteria I laid out, hence why there is no nominee list. Ultimately, this show is about honesty, connection, and celebrating what impacted me most, all while being lighthearted, fun, and spending time with you guys. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's celebrate the K-pop that impacted me this year. Starting off with our first award of the night. Best Meme Song. A song that went so viral we couldn't escape it. The winner is Gnarly, Cat's Eye. For this one, I had some very polarizing opinions about it when it came out. I made a whole video talking about the comeback, and I do have to say I have grown to love it. But ironically, I can see it now as more of a joke song that acknowledges that it isn't taking itself too seriously, when initially I was reviewing it from the perspective that the song was taking itself that seriously. And I think that does come across in my initial review, but having sat with it for a few months, I feel like the song has definitely grown on me a lot. The next award is Guilty Pleasure of the Year. A song I played more times than I'd like to admit. The winner is Trampoline by Red Velvet, Irene, and Seulgi. I don't know what people's opinion on this album or the song in particular are, but I really liked this album. It was very cohesive, it was fun. I know a lot of people don't like the Julie feature on it for obvious reasons, but Trampoline is a very, very good song if you're able to look past the surface level questionable lyrics. Next up is Unexpected Love, a song I was unsure about before, but now love. The winner is Hot Sauce by Baby Monster. I was very unsure going into that song. I don't have the best track record with Baby Monster releases, so I went into that one fearing the worst, but came out of it with a new favorite. I mentioned it in my Why Baby Monster Need Rami video, but Hot Sauce was really good. It's been on repeat ever since. Biggest Grower, a song I hated on first listen but grew to understand. And this one might be a little controversial coming from me, but I gave it to Itzy's Tunnel Vision. I know that I have not been the biggest vocal supporter of this song, actually quite the opposite, but over time, having listened to that song for a while for that review video, I softened or warmed up to it because my initial first reaction to that song was not positive at all. Not at all. But after sitting with it for a while and listening to it for a few more times and actually diving into the lyrics for that review, I learned to sort of accept it. Now I have heard a lot more Itzy than what I'm used to hearing because of that Itzy video that I keep teasing. It'll finally come out next year, I promise. But because of that, I've sort of warmed up to the song or have grown to love it in the sense that I fear I have Stockholm Syndrome with the song. I wanted to love this album so much, and unfortunately I felt it under-delivered, but it is ultimately my personal taste. A lot of people feel that this album was a return to form for Itzy, and while in a lot of ways I can see that, it still wasn't enough to shake my initial disappointment. However, having listened to it a few times, I can see how it is still an improvement, and I do believe I mentioned that in my initial review video, but I will get into that in the video whenever that comes out, but I promise it's coming out sooner rather than later. Next up is Catchiest Chorus, a song that has a chorus so sticky I have been singing it non-stop, and I gave this award to Blue Valentine by Nmixx. Ever since the song came out, the intro and the chorus itself have been stuck in my head. Hearing the girls hit those beautiful harmonies and those beautiful runs, it's truly otherworldly. It's an amazing experience, an amazing listen, and if you haven't somehow heard it yet, I highly recommend that you listen to it. Next up is a little controversial one, Most Confusing Rollout, an album whose concept, promotions, or singles felt a bit off. Perhaps not a surprise at all, I'm gonna give this one to Alter Ego by Lisa. Similarly to Itzy, I keep teasing a video revisiting Lisa's Alter Ego because I want to do this whole series revisiting albums that I initially didn't like or that I feel aged badly. And this is probably going to be the second video in that series following Chewy's album, since that's the album that inspired the whole series. I mentioned this in, I believe, my Do All Idols Deserve a Solo video, but that series will come out next year, also hopefully sooner rather than later. Next up is Company Fumble of the Year. For that, I can't believe they let them post that moment. And I'm sorry, but there's truly only one I can think of that actually takes the cake for that, and it's S2 Entertainment with Kiss of Life. I don't feel like I need to get into that one that much. You pretty much get it. Next up is Hidden Gem of the Year, for a song I feel more people should know about. And I chose Hypnotic by Shinbi. This is off of their A Montage Of album under Vivis. And I feel a lot of people haven't really been talking about that album, and it's surprisingly really good. Well, I shouldn't say surprisingly. All of their previous releases have been very solid, but Shinbi's song in particular is really good. If you've heard Move Like That by Momo, it's a very similar vibe, and that's partially why I included Hypnotic in my hypothetical fan Momo album. If you haven't seen that video, I made a video giving twice solo albums to the members that didn't already have solo albums. And for Momo's album, from what I remember from the comments from that video and the dedicated short I posted about it, I feel a lot of people agreed with my choice that it was very Momo coded. So the best way that I could describe it, it's kind of like main dancer energy, and it's a very good listen. Gimme More. For an artist who released good music but should have released more of it, I gave this one to Stacy. Stacy this year came out with 2 single albums, S and I Want It. Both of these singles were comprised of 3 songs. So I'd consider that more of like a maxi single if you want to think about it that way. But honestly, at the beginning of the year, I thought they were gearing up for a mini album release. But they came out with S and it was 3 songs, and then I thought that they were going to come out with a mini album in the summer, and then they came out with I Want It, and it was another 3 songs. While selfishly I wish that one of these releases, or both, could have been mini albums, I can understand how making those, either one of those or both, a mini album would have been very difficult to properly promote and execute, given that they were on tour. And I loved that tour. Spoiler, none of the categories talk about live performances, given the criteria that I mentioned previously, and the only live show for K-pop that I was able to go to this year was Stacy. So it didn't feel too fair to just give them that leg up, but they are amazing live. Next up is Grower Group of the Year, for a group I couldn't avoid loving even if I tried. And if you've seen some of my recent videos, this will come as no surprise, but I gave it to NCT Dream. If you've seen my Let's Talk About Boy Groups video, I detail my very dramatic history with boy groups and how it led me to accept myself as the boy group enjoyer that I am. Specifically, spoiler alert, the straw that broke the camel's back was NCT Dream. Well, NCT. I'll just leave it there so that you can watch that video and truly find out. Next up is Best Experimental Release, for a song that has an unconventional sound, at least for me. And I gave it to Papillon by Nmixx. This song I know isn't necessarily the most experimental, but it is something that veers out of my usual comfort zone or taste for songs, and that made it all the more special. That entire album is just very good. Next up, we have Most Healing Release, a release that saved me from my 13th reason, and I gave that one to Season of Memories by GFriend. When I heard that my girls were actually going to be able to celebrate their 10th anniversary together, I was overjoyed. I was over the moon. I couldn't fathom that it was actually happening. Was I disappointed that it was just 2 songs? Yes, but we at least got something, and that song healed a part of me. It healed the young buddy within me that joined GFriend right as Mago was being released, and it was like truly devastating to pour all of me into this group only to find out that they were disbanded. I made a whole video reacting to their Purchase Night album back when it was released in 2020. Was it 2020 or 2021? I think it was 2020. So if you want to see that, that's on my channel. You have to scroll past quite a few videos. Now, for the following categories, which is most of them, they no longer have like little descriptions or like blurbs before them, because I feel the category names are pretty self-explanatory. So next up we have Best Rebrand, and I gave it to Girl Set. I know they aren't K-pop, but they are always being talked about in K-pop circles, i.e. also my channel. Therefore, I feel like they deserve this album. I feel they deserve this award. They did a massive 180 shift from Vicha now as Girl Set, both in name but also in sonic identity. I can't deny also the massive impact that Girl Set has had on my channel. So besides the fact that they put out good music this year, I am eternally grateful for that, and I will keep saying how grateful I am for Girl Set and that video in particular that I assume most of you have seen, but if you somehow haven't seen it, I talked about their entire situation and their 2 releases as Girl Set a few weeks ago, like right before this season of Wayde's Winter Wonderland happened, and that video genuinely changed the trajectory of this channel. Next up, we have Best Ballad, and I gave it to Praying by Seulgi off of her Accidentally on Purpose mini album. This song is just so gorgeous. The way that it starts, the way that it tapers out at the end. Her vocal delivery is just something truly like magical. It gives me chills every single time. Now we're getting into some of the more exciting awards. We have Best B-Side Girl Group, and I gave it to Podium by Nmixx. Ever since I heard that album, Podium has been on repeat. Could it be the Latin influences? Perhaps. Could it be that it's just really addictive? Yes. That song makes me feel so hyped, and I believe I mentioned that in my initial review. It's so good, in fact, that I used it as like my intro clip for that video, which is something I've stopped doing, and let me know if you guys want me to bring that back. I don't know if anybody was attached to those little intro segments, but I could bring it back if you want. Next up, we have Best B-Side boy group. It's not as fair as the girl group since I only started covering boy groups as of like 3 weeks ago, but I gave it to Rush by NCT Dream. I can no longer deny that I love this song. I never denied it actually, but in my initial video, I still gave the top spot to Beat It Up, even though I did acknowledge that Rush had stolen my heart. And I can't hide it anymore. Haechan's runs and just vocal moments towards the end of the song live rent free in my head. Like, I literally had to use that clip for the short because it's just that good. If you haven't heard it yet, you really should. Next up is Best B-Side Female Solo, and I gave it to Better Days by Seulgi. I also thought about giving it to Praying because Praying is really good, but I already gave an award to Praying and I wanted to spread it out at least a little bit, so I gave it to Better Days. That song is really understated, I should say, towards the beginning of the song, but it has a very dramatic twist at the end that makes it hit harder every single time, and it adds a lot of replay value, at least for me. So that was one of the releases that really stood out to me as a soloist this year. For Best B-Side Male Soloist, I couldn't give it to anyone else than Haechan with What's Your Name featuring Haon. This song truly has been such an earworm for me. It's been stuck in my head. I keep belting out the vocal moments. I literally included that in the video, and that gives me a little bit of cringe when I think back on it. But it's just really that good. Next up, we have Best Title Track Girl Group, and I gave it to Know About Me by Nmixx. Like I mentioned previously, ever since they dropped that mini album, this song has just been on repeat. And while I love Blue Valentine as a song, Know About Me just has something about it. I don't know if it's the way that the girls deliver their lines, the way that the vocals are layered, but just something about it really scratches a specific itch in my mind that I feel no other title track from a girl group has been able to do this year. For Best Title Track Boy Group, again, there weren't really that many options. I had 3, and I gave it to Iconic. I love Beat It Up, and I loved Go Back to the Future, but Iconic really is iconic. The sort of disco retro influence and the way that the members sing and deliver their lines, it really feels like something larger than life and like a very big impactful moment, which it is in their careers. It's their first studio album, and I feel like all of that combined just really resonated with me. Best Title Track Female Soloist, I gave it to Baby Not Baby. Are we seeing a pattern? Maybe I like Seulgi's comeback, but truthfully, for this one, I had a few more choices, obviously, but out of all of them, out of the ones I covered off the top of my head, I did Lisa, Jennie, Yeji, Chungha, Wendy, Joy, Seulgi. I did a few, and out of all of them, the title track that I keep coming back to is Baby Not Baby. The way that she says, I'm so sorry, it's so good. It really also scratches a particular itch. SM, please just let her curse for the next one. She was so close. Next up, we have Best Title Track Male Soloist. That one's also not fair because I only had 2 options. My options were either the winner, which I gave it to Stunner by 10, or Crazy by Haechan. Crazy by Haechan is very good, but Stunner is just slightly better. And that whole album is also very, very good. Speaking of albums, we have Best Mini Album Girl Group, and I gave it to FE304 Forward. I know it's a chemical compound. I believe it's iron oxide, but I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. This album is so good. Every single one of the songs has grown on me even more from my first listen, especially coming off the heels of their previous installment in the series, Stick Out, and it really did stick out, not necessarily in a positive way, even though I still like all the songs on that album, but we're not talking about it. My other options for this release were Le Seraphim's Hot, and that one was very, very close, but given the intro not really counting for me, and just the lack of runtime for that one, that's why Nmixx had a slight edge. Add to that I just prefer Know About Me over Hot. Best mini album boy group. This is one of the least fair awards, but I gave it to Beat It Up by NCT Dream because it's a default win. I did not cover any other boy group mini albums this year, so it's a win by default, but at least it's a good album. Next up, we have Best Solo Mini Album Female. And let me hear it, y'all. Did you say accidentally on purpose? Because yes, you could say I did that too accidentally on purpose. I don't feel like I need to explain this one too much. If you've made it to this point in the video, I'm pretty sure it's clear that I love this album. Best Solo Mini Album. Also one of the most unfair categories. I gave it to Stunner by 10 because there was also no competition. But again, at least it's a very, very good album. Now we're getting into more of the juicier ones. We have Best Full Album Girl Group. And I gave it to This Is For by Twice. You might be thinking, why didn't I give it to like Blue Valentine or any other group? And for me, Blue Valentine is a very solid body of work, especially for their first studio album. But to me, the album ends as Shape of Love ends. To me, the OOs feel like more bonus tracks rather than integral parts of the album. And I believe I mentioned that in my initial review video. So I usually skip those two songs when I listen to the album. With This Is For, I sometimes skip Hi Hello and Gelato depending on my mood, but it's not as consistent as I do with Blue Valentine. Because of that, I feel like that gave this album a slight edge. My camera overheated and I completely lost my train of thought. I know that I was justifying what picking This Is For, but I don't remember specifically what I said. To give a little more context, my other options were Blue Valentine, A Montage Of, and technically Sequence 1 by 5E. I don't think a lot of people really know about 5E, at least not on my channel. It's a very good album. They came out with like a deluxe version with a new single. Very good. But This Is For just really hit. They really said this is for me. Yeah. Next up we have Best Full Album Boy Group, and I gave it to Never Say Never by Zero Base One. Again, not really fair because my only other option was Go Back to the Future, and even though that album is very good, I love all of the songs on it. Never Say Never just has a slight edge to it. Next up, we have Best Solo Album Female, and I gave it to Lil Fantasy by Chaeyoung. Oh. Why are there cars? It's literally 2:30 in the morning and I also still have Jenna as my lock screen. Oh my god, I forgot to restart my mic. So for a bit, this had no crispy audio. I'm really sorry about that. For Chaeyoung, I was a little bit nervous about Lil Fantasy because she doesn't really exude my type of energy, if that makes sense. Next up, we have Best Cohesive Album. I gave that one to Taste by Haechan. Originally, I was just gonna make a Best Solo Album Male, but I felt like that was a little bit unfair since he would have won it by default. I wanted to make a category so that even though I knew he was gonna win, because at the end of the day, it's still my choice, but I wanted to give others a running chance. Taste by Haechan, if you haven't seen my video on it, is super cohesive in the best way. Not like all the songs sound samey or anything like that. They're all very distinct and could stand alone as singles, but they work together so beautifully. I just can't put into words how much of a great listening experience that album is. I did try my best and I gave you 26 minutes of putting it into words if you haven't seen that video. Next up, we have Best Solo Comeback, and I gave it to Accidentally on Purpose by Seulgi. Yup, she be sweeping these awards. Like, that album is just really good, and I was not really expecting much from her comeback because at that point I thought that genuinely SM was just gonna throw her to the wayside, discard her, but they proved me wrong. That album is so good. I cannot encourage you more to listen to it. It's just very good. Next up, we have Best Solo Debut, and this category includes everybody. And I gave it to Chaeyoung with Lil Fantasy. Now, even though I loved Haechan's solo debut, I feel that he was lacking a bit on the promotion side. So I wish that he would have gotten another music video or done more music show performances. And somebody left in one of my comments saying that he chose to not really have that many promotions. And if that is the case, I am all for whatever he decides to do. But for Chaeyoung, it really felt like a little moment. Like I had mentioned previously, I was a bit scared when it was announced that she was going to do a solo album because her interest in music doesn't really line up with mine. But I went into it with an open mind, and I came out of it very pleasantly surprised. The album is also very cohesive, very her, but is also very good. And I believe it was one of the most critically acclaimed albums of the year, even among non-K-pop listeners. So that, to me, speaks volumes of it. Next up, we have Breakout Solo of the Year. So I gave that one to Dayoung. I still cannot believe that my girl debuted solo and has had the amount of success that she has. Once it was announced and once the song was released, I was like, yay, this is great. But I feared that it was just gonna happen the same way that it happened with Sola, that it was just kind of gonna get swept under the rug, and we as Woojung were gonna be like, yay, she got a solo, the song is really good, but we weren't gonna get much. But Dayoung has been working her ass off during these promotions, and she has truly exceeded any expectation that I could have ever had for her. And that is also why she won our next category, Best Career Revival. I could have never in a million years anticipated the revival that she would have, because unfortunately at the beginning of the year, nobody was really checking in on her or any of the WJSN girls, with the exception of maybe Youngjung and Bona. But now she's performing on big stages, she's winning awards, she's doing the damn thing, and I couldn't be prouder. Now we have the hard hitters. I believe these are the daesangs. We have Rookie of the Year group, and I gave it 2 hearts, 2 hearts. Their debut mini album, Focus, again exceeded any expectation that I could have ever had. But at the same time, I'm not surprised because as you could tell, I do like SM's sound. And right now, they are benefiting from this pattern that SM has of really polishing their new group's first initial releases. It happened with aespa, in my opinion. It happened with Red Velvet. And I fear that that polish might not be there always, but for right now, Focus is such a solid mini album. Again, I made a whole video on it if you want to check it out. Next up, we have Group of the Year, and I gave it to Nmixx. Even though I think a lot of the groups that I have covered so far have had amazing years, Nmixx truly had one of the best years in their career. They have been silently grinding and grinding and grinding like there was no tomorrow. JYP sort of set these girls up for failure by releasing OO as their debut track and it being so controversial and polarizing. But seeing the girls be able to truly reach this level of success and acclaim without it being paid for, allegedly, or without it feeling forced, it's truly been such a natural evolution of just more and more people waking up and being like, oh my god, wait, Nmixx is really good. The girls have the talent, the charisma, the drive, the discography to back it up. And the fact that Blue Valentine went #1 and it stayed #1 for as long as it did, to me, also is a huge testament to the year that they've had. Being able to release not only one solid body of work, but both, and have them be some of the most critically acclaimed releases of the year, to me is such a huge achievement. Now they're going on tour. things are really shaping up for them to have a very solid 2026. Knock on wood, I don't want another Kiss of Life situation. I cannot handle another Kiss of Life situation. I need my girls to be protected. Next up, we have Soloist of the Year, and I gave it to 10. Not Solgi, I too am surprised. But for 10, he released 2 amazing bodies of work. His Stunner mini album and his Japanese mini album, and all of the songs that he put out that I have listened to. I haven't heard the full Japanese album yet, but all of the songs that I've heard are very, very good. And again, I could have given it to Haechan, given my immense love for his album, but given his lack of promotions, I just felt like 10 had a bigger year, both in terms of like promotions, but I feel like having those 2 distinct mini albums are really doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Time for the big ones. We have Song of the Year. Now, I can't deny the fact that this is my emotional side showing. My Song of the Year was Season of Memories by G-Friend. This song truly got me through some tough times. I literally cried while at work while listening to the song when it came out, because I just couldn't believe that it was actually happening. This song means so much to me, and I'm pretty sure to a lot of other buddies it means a lot to be able to have our girls back and have that comeback, even though it was just 2 songs, and being able to see them have a concert, even though I wish they would have brought it to the US, but I understand now how naive that was, but it's still so good. Next up, we have Album of the Year. Do you have any guesses? I gave it to Taste by Haechan. My Haechan video thumbnail spoils it. He, to me, really dropped Album of the Year. Every single song on that album is a banger. Like I mentioned it before, every single song could stand on its own as a single, as a title track. Like, they're all so good and so thoughtfully made. And the fact that they're all on one album is mind-blowing to me. I feel like I don't really have to justify this one for you guys. If you've seen the video or if you've seen any of my recent videos, I believe it is quite clear how passionate I am about this album. So passionate, in fact, that, give me a sec, I got 2 versions of it. And this is huge. Like, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was. And wow. What a handsome fella. And then I also got the tin case one. And it looks like my nails kind of match the concept. But, such an amazing album. I don't usually do the whole buying multiple versions, but so good. And last but certainly not least, award number 40, we have Artist of the Year. Can I get a drum roll, y'all? I gave it to Twice. Fork found in kitchen. I don't know what to say about it. If you've seen any of the videos on my channel, if you followed me for any length of time, you would know that Twice has always been that group for me, and I feel they will always be that group. Throughout my different, even just commentary style videos, I feel like I've been able to sort of give you guys a very small piece of like why I love Twice so much. But the reason why I gave them Artist of the Year is because, like Nmixx, they have had such an unprecedentedly, I don't know if that's a word, such an unprecedented year full of success. Nobody could have ever predicted the explosive, massive success that Kpop Demon Hunters was, their performance at Lollapalooza. They've done so much this year, plus they're on a tour. They released a full-length album, they released a 10-year anniversary album. Like, they released a Japanese album. They have been grinding non-stop, and they have just fed us so well this year that truly Group of the Year didn't seem like it was a strong enough title To me, they deserve the title of Artist of the Year. And I can't wait for next year for when I see them live and to see what else they come out with, because honestly, 2025 to me was Twice's year. Having such a massive career defining year 10 years in after usually groups are discarded, like that's crazy. That's like unheard of. So being able to witness that in real time, amazing. So congratulations to all the winners, but that leads us to the end. Before we wrap this up, I do want to remind everyone about how these winners were chosen. For this year, the deciding factor was me. My taste, my opinions, my listening habits, my rewatches. Every award you saw today comes directly from what I connected with most across the year and what genuinely stuck with me long after the first listen. But next year, I want this to be bigger than just me. When I do this award show again in 2026, I want it to be fan voted. I want your voices, your hot takes, your emotional attachments to matter just as much as mine did. So consider this video the start of that conversation. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my takes, if you agree with the winners, if you violently disagree, if your pick was robbed, or if there's a category you think I should add for next year. And if you're not ready to say goodbye to this season of Wayde's Winter Wonderland just yet, don't worry, because I am not done. Very soon, I will be sharing my Apple Music Wrapped, where we're going to get even more personal about what I listen to, what consumes my brain all year, and what that says about me as a K-pop fan in 2025. If you thought some of these awards were interesting, just wait. But thank you guys so very much for watching, for supporting the channel, and for being a part of these conversations with me. This year meant a lot, both musically and personally, and I'm so glad that I was able to share it with you guys. Remember that I love you all so much, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!